ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Shelley Tasker Show here on Cornwall Revolution Radio. It's good to have your company for the first show. If you'd like to join in the live chat, click on the live chat room link at the top of the right-hand side of the page, just below the player of your choice. Today's date is Wednesday, 9th of September, and my guests this evening are Charlie Rainbow and Nina. I can't pronounce her surname, and she's not worried about it neither, so we'll just go with Nina. So welcome, guys, and thank you for being my first guest on the show.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Right, so I'll have to say a little bit about Charlie and Nina. I've known these guys for probably coming on a couple of months now. First introduced, well, not really introduced, but saw some funny videos on Facebook, hilarious videos. Some of you might have seen them. Martha the Marshal in Directly Cornwall News. Anyway, I think my mum sent it to me. And I think by now it's had like over 100,000 views. So a couple of weeks later, I went on a demonstration and these guys were here. And I said to Charlie, God, I recognise you. And she said, I think you might find it's from Martha the Marshal. Now, I misheard her and said, Martha the Martian, okay. So anyway, half an hour later, my mum's messaging me and saying, I saw you in the video. You were with Martha the Marshal. And I'm like, oh my God, that's where I know her from. Anyway, over the last few weeks or so, I've got to know these guys a little bit better. And I thought it'd be great to have some people on that are like-minded and have a bit of comedy about them and humour in these dark times that we're going through at the moment. So we're going to chat to Charlie for a bit first and then Nina. Like I say, the chat room's open. So if you want to chat, feel free. Take a deep breath. Charlie. How are you doing, my lovely?
I'm all right, my love. You all right?
She's all right. Bit of a mad rush for them to get here. They literally ran in the door about 8:31. Yeah. I was looking outside, not that it would make you appear any quicker, dreading the fact a train might come. And anyway, we're here, all good. So I don't actually know too much about you, Charlie. Obviously, I've seen you, we've chatted a little bit and stuff, and I've seen your videos. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, about your story, how long you've been active, etc.?
Active to do with the recent stuff with the protests and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, tell me a bit, when did you start waking up? Tell me a little bit about yourself so people get a general idea.
Right. About 4 years ago, I was just generally Googling and YouTubing as you do, and I came across, don't even ask me with all the stuff that I've looked at what it was, but I came across some stuff and it does whatever it does with everybody, and it just leads you, let's have a look at this. And then you went down to the road, down to more and more, and just more of the red-pilled stuff, information.
Down the
yeah. And then I went through phases where I'd forget about it. Yeah, I know, everybody else gets red-pilled and they don't go back to blue-pilling, but then I would go from red pill to blue pill and I'd just forget about it all, and it would come up again until it came to my consciousness so much that it just became part of me, and then I couldn't go back after that, really.
Right. So 4 years, and how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 40.
You're 40. So when all of this started, I mean, how do you and Nina know each other?
I had another friend who was called Nina, and we basically met through her. She said to me, let's go and go for a beach day. I've got this other friend called Nina. And I thought, it would be great, like, you know, to go out. And it'd be great if I could have like 3 friends called Nina, because then it would go Nina, Nina, Nina. Do you know what I mean? You know, I haven't got the third one yet, like, you know.
Perhaps there's a listener out there.
Yeah, maybe. If you're called Nina, get in touch with me, all right?
So you say like some 4 years ago. So when obviously I'm presuming the big lockdown happened and everything like that. So then you've obviously got drawn more into it. But before lockdown actually happened, I think a lot of us were like, oh, is this really happening? What's happening? And you're still questioning stuff if you're taking the red pill, so to speak. How was this time for you? I think before you said you lived by yourself and stuff like that.
Before the coronavirus thing, it was very isolating and very lonely because you couldn't speak out about it. It's not like it is now. But I had the advantage because I had those years before this all started. I had longer to learn all the different things, whereas people who woke up from the coronavirus thing have had to compact everything in a small time.
Yeah.
But they've had the luck of being able to freely express it with people, because there's a lot of people grouping around now. A lot of people are out there and stuff where it wasn't before, because I don't think it was needed really, was it, until it's got draconian like it has. So
yeah. No, I know what you're saying. It's so we went into lockdown, and so what happened then? How was lockdown for you?
I believed it like a lot of people said that they believed it. I believed it first of all, and I self-isolated a week before everybody else.
You can laugh about it now, can't you? That's like we were all bringing it.
And I'd self-isolated for 2.5 months, and my mental health went down, majorly went down, and I'd realised within a couple of weeks what had been going on. But once you've had that fear and you're in that fear, it's so difficult once you're in that fear to move out of it.
Yeah.
So you need to keep looking at the alternative stuff and keep preparing myself until I could get myself out of that fear. And it took like 2.5 months before I'd be able to come outside.
Gosh, 2.5 months.
Of looking at the same wall, look at the same walls. So.
And were you in touch with each other then?
We were texting, weren't we?
Yeah.
Just texting.
We sometimes talked on the phone. Just occasionally. Yeah. I was really worried about Charlie, and I just remember, like, when I saw on Facebook that she'd gone out, I was like, yay! Because she was, even though she was aware of what was going on in the alternative media and stuff, I still couldn't. She still wouldn't go out because she was still worried that there was something out there, even though there was all this other stuff because of harassment and everything. But and then I sort of sent her a few links and stuff, like trying to urge, I think I sent you one with this a police officer like in America just saying, look, people are still getting ill even if they've been self-isolating. So what's you might, and I just started saying to her, you need to get out and live your life. Like, life's too short just to stay in. But yeah, I don't know what woke you up to go out in the end, but you just said, right, I'm doing it, didn't you? And I saw on Facebook and you were like, I've been out.
Yeah. It was basically, it was just the nonsensical stuff. It was just the information that was coming in. Because I've been red pilled for 4 years, I've always looked at alternative media. I haven't just had the mainstream media, just believed it without doing my own research. I've always done that research for the last 4 years. So it would be natural for me to do my research. And I'm just coming across stuff that just wasn't adding up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, when things don't start adding up, isn't it? And to stay by yourself for 2.5 months. I mean, I was scared. I was really scared for a few days. I was literally, we're going to die. We're all going to die. And I think someone said, well, if you're going to die, you're going to die. It's a bit like, even my job working in the hospital, it's like, well, it is my duty to go to work because that's my calling, so to speak. But it wasn't, I believe actually by working in the hospitals gave me that insight to see that actually what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
You must have questioned it to a certain point because you were experiencing from the point of being in hospital that it wasn't as...
It wasn't what was in the news.
Yeah.
It wasn't what it was like on the news. And it was this big, lots of people would come in and say like, oh, they're making morgues at Newquay Airport and stuff. And the hospital just went quiet. There was hardly any patients and you were just waiting for it to hit. But it literally, it didn't hit. But so when you went out for the first time, where did you go? Anywhere exciting?
Oh, now you're talking. I'm getting old, love. I'm getting old. I don't know. Do you know?
You went to town.
I probably, knowing me, I went to town.
The coffee van?
I probably went. Yes, that's right. I went to Sim's coffee van, which his coffee van is outside Davy's statue in Penzance.
Yeah.
And I went outside there because I texted him before about it, and he said. I said, what did you think about all this in the period that I was fearing this stuff? And he was saying that, like us guys, he could see through it and stuff. And he said, do you want a hot chocolate? I was like, no, I'm not going out. I'm going to catch Corona, do you know what I mean? So when I finally did get out, I thought I'll visit him, and I went up to him. I was like, "This is crazy, isn't it?" I said, "I can't believe what's going on," like, you know. And we just chatted about that, really, like, you know.
So after that, like, first outing, then, like, when have you been with like the Truth Action groups for a long time, or have you just suddenly like, right, I'm over this now. It's robbed me of 2.5 months of my life, and I want to live and I want to wake up other people.
It hasn't. I haven't been in the groups for very long. It's just been a recent thing because everybody's like awake to what's going on type thing. Sorry, what was the last question you said?
I can't remember.
We're good, aren't we? This is what happens when we get older, isn't it? The young kids have got so much to look forward to, I'm telling you now.
But it's just like you suddenly got one day, like, I mean, I met you for the first, obviously I saw your videos, and I met you on the demonstration in Plymouth.
That's right.
So how did you come about to go, like, on the demonstration?
Well, the very first thing that brought me to the idea of protests was a couple of days after the very first London protest, where I believe there was about 400 people there.
Right.
I was watching on YouTube about it, and someone called Rose Diamond, Fiona Rose Diamond, got arrested just for walking along and doing nothing. She was literally just doing nothing wrong. And I remember the video because all these policemen were around her, and then this bloke says, "Why do you need all those policemen for one woman?" You know, it made me laugh. And she inspired me, and then I thought, if we don't do something, if we don't stand up for our rights, then what are we here for? You know, what is the point of living if we can't live fully? Do you know what I mean? If we can't be free.
Free, exactly, yeah. And our rights are all being taken away from us one by one. People can't see it, can they, at the moment?
It's really weird. I mean, when we went to the London protests, and I did a little Martha video of it, the amount of people that were saying things on there that were just saying bad stuff on there. I mean, do they not realise that we're standing up for ourselves, because you can't do a selfless act, there's no such thing, but we're also doing it for people. Like, there are people in care homes who have stopped their water and their food, and there was one guy that couldn't tell you where it was happening, because if he got sacked, he couldn't do what he was going to do. So what he was doing, he and one other member of staff, no other ones were doing it, was going to a shop, and they were getting baby food to go back and feed these people who the home had stopped water and food with.
Really? I mean, I have heard some horror stories from these care homes, and people share stuff, and there's a lot of questioning. Is it a big coal against the elderly? What's going on? And I had the privilege, I would say, of working in a care home a couple of months ago, and it was awful. I mean, you did 2.5 months of being by yourself. These guys have now done near on 6 months. Yeah. You know,
I don't understand how they could. It's not natural for human beings.
But they can't fight for themselves.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's not natural for human beings to be on their own.
No, it's not. No, we're social creatures.
We are social creatures.
Yeah. And we need to see faces and interact.
Yeah. The depression, the mental health went down as soon as I was around people.
Yeah.
You know?
It lifted you, and it's being with like-minded people as well. I mean, I feel quite blessed at the moment. I feel like since I've met you guys and I've really got into this, I've found myself.
Yeah.
Because I've been around people, wonderful people, and I've got some really good friends. But there's nothing like being able to have a chat with people and them not dissing what you're saying, and you're not feeling like the odd one out. And, you know, you see all this stuff coming up on Facebook and people argue with you and stuff like that. And I got really low when I came off for a week or so. And I was saying to Nina last week, excuse me, no corona there, just a bit of reflux.
It's like we're out to cough.
By the way, we are all sat right next to each other.
It's a protest of itself.
Yes. I might have to get the masks. But no, I've gone on. Where was I? I saw Nina in Truro last Saturday, and I was saying that I was so low that I did a 21-day course of self-healing with Reiki. I was literally so low with the world, and it's like, you're all right when you're inside, and then you go out and see everybody in the shops with their masks on, and you literally feel like you're the Matrix. It's like you're in the Matrix. You're looking at all these people, and they're just getting on with their life, doing what they're doing. And it's like, but I do understand as well that these people, they're doing it because they have to follow guidelines and procedures, and they don't want to lose their jobs. But I felt so low. So anyway, I did this course of this 21 days of healing, and it was quite interesting to see that actually having a 6-year-old at home, trying to find an hour every day to have to yourself was near on impossible. And you were allowed to have like 1 or 2 days off in between, but not really any longer after you start the whole 21 days again. So every day I would do an hour's healing, go upstairs in my bedroom, put some music on, and, you know, I would get some images and stuff in like meditation and stuff. And towards the end, it was getting harder because I was falling out with people on Facebook just for putting my opinion. I wasn't being rude or hostile, but people, what I've realised lately is anything you say to them, they're so scared, they don't want to hear it. And it's just like, if you give them any idea, it's like, no, it's not true. And it's like, I don't know what will get through to these people. But I nearly gave up the healing. I think it was the second to last night, my partner said, you know, I was like, how am I going to get an hour today? I've got a little one running around, blah, blah, blah. He said, go and have a bath tonight. And I was telling Dina this on Saturday. So I get in the bath and I'm doing my bits, you know, and I'm listening. I'm listening to the music and putting my hands on my head and all that sort of stuff. And then there's a knock at the door, and people that have got children appreciate this. Mummy, I need a poo. And like, it's true. It's real life, isn't it? So, okay, get out, let him in. And I'm starting to get a bit mad now. I'm thinking, I just can't get an hour, can I? Anyway, so I'm thinking, go on in a minute, go back to it. Next thing I open my eyes, he's climbing in the bath with me. And I'm just like, I just don't think I could do this, you know. And I'm so close to finishing my 21 days. I don't want to give up and start again. And that was when it's hard, because it's like you're being really tested. Can you do this? Anyway, I did do it. And I'm pleased that I accomplished 21 days of finding an hour to myself.
Yeah, that is really.
And I do feel that I came out of that a different person, stronger. All of a sudden it was like, right, I will post things on Facebook. If people don't like what I've got to say, they want to get argument, delete, block. Doesn't matter. It's my page. Bugger off and just let me have my say. Yeah. You know, if we see stuff and you don't like it, we all think, don't we? Oh, what a load of rubbish. Scroll on, move on. Yeah. I respect your opinion. I'm not going to lose friends over Facebook.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did all of that, and it was like I came through, and I'm like, I'm a stronger person, and I can't help who I am, and I need to be me. And then it was like doing quite a bit for the groups, and I went to the demonstration in Plymouth when I met you the first time.
Yeah.
And I felt so nervous, and when I was there, you know, it's when everybody's shouting, it's like, save our rights, and I'm like, save our rights. And then after 5 minutes, you just don't care. You're giving leaflets out to everybody, and most people were really friendly, and you know, some people are like, no, and that's absolutely fine. But that was a real high for me, being with like-minded people, fighting for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was supposed to be working that day, and I was praying, like, I only found out about it the night before. And anyway, I was thinking, if it's quiet, I'll tell a little porky. And I did, and I got away. And I loved it. And then I went to the other one 2 weeks later. And then, of course, there's a big talk of London, which obviously I organised the coach for. And it was like being with family. I think we had something like 29 people. And I've never really met half of these people just via Facebook, all the groups that you're in. And having a day with these people in Trafalgar Square, and it was one of the best days of my life. It was amazing. Anyway, so planning on going to the next one, or the next two.
Yeah, next two.
Yeah.
Do you know what's happening there?
Well, we've booked it to the 19th and the 20th. Charlie's volunteering on the 19th with you're now friends with Kate Shemmerai.
Ooh,
friends.
Let's name drop.
Come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Friends isn't the I would love to be friends.
Yeah,
I would love to be friends with those guys. Well, yeah, but she sent the number out to everybody. So, you know, let's not, you know, I would love to be their mates, obviously. I mean, anybody would in this situation. I've talked a bit with Fiona on the message. Fiona Rose Diamond, isn't it? And yeah, so we she asked, I want to be like a volunteer. And I said, I was thinking like, of course, do you know what I mean? Book me up, love, you know.
Yeah.
So, and the plan is, because we're going to be there for a week, in between we haven't got anything to do, so we're going to be going to get
sightseeing and stuff. Obviously.
Oh yeah,
hanging
obviously.
out.
We want to do some because I'm a fan of Kate's and Fiona's, and Nina's a fan of Geza. Although I'm getting there with Geza.
Yeah.
Geza.
Don't say too. I need to ask you about him in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Save it.
Otherwise, I won't have my questions for you, Nina.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm getting that. I've seen some of the things that he's done, and I think it's brilliant. So the idea is during the week is to do some volunteering for Geza in the pen and see if I've got some binoculars for Boris Johnson, you know, just see if he's like going to come out with his cups of tea with us, like you know.
Yeah.
Might do a bit of Martha the Marshalling, you know. Put the jacket on.
You must.
Put the jacket on, see if we can get Boris Johnson, you know.
Oh, it would be so funny. And for you guys listening out there, you really need to go on the Facebook page, Directly Cornwall
News and Radio.
Radio News.
Is it?
Sorry, guys. It's Directly Cornwall Radio and News,
right.
but the and is the twirly and.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah, and watch some of their videos they've done. They have completely taken the mickey out of the way things have been going. And I found them comical. And looking through the comments, some people thought it was real, didn't they? They really thought it was real.
Yeah.
So,
it's quite funny.
So it can be a bit.
It's quite funny when people are calling me thick because they think that it's real and they haven't worked out that it's a joke. It's quite ironic, isn't it?
It is. But do you know, when I watched it, I don't know if you've been fans at all of oh God, what's that comedy show? The Man and the Woman, Kerry and Curtin.
No.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Kerry and Curtin.
This Country.
Oh yeah, we had loads of people commented, didn't they? Said
you reminded me of her so much. Anyway, I watched them. I was in absolute stitches.
Yeah. I've never seen it, but so many people have commented and said
that. Yeah, you should watch
it. Kerry from Our Country or something, isn't it?
This Country.
Yeah.
So how did you come up? Who came up with the idea of Martha the Marshal?
Right. So basically, I just wanted. I said to Nina, I rang her up one day and I said, look, because basically what happened, and I'll tell you where it all came from.
Yes, start at the beginning.
Right. There was news that there was going to be yellow arrows put out on the streets of Penzance and Marshalls, and I wanted to understand from the people how they felt. So I basically went around asking a lot of people what they thought. And not one person turned around and said to me they thought it was acceptable. Everyone thought it was too far. Some of them could understand arrows being in shops because it's indoors and coronavirus is more of an indoor thing, whatever, like, you know. But nobody accepted this Marshall system and this arrow system. And the fact that they didn't even bother asking the people, it was a big thing for me. So I thought, do you know what? I think these people need to be heard. I think these people need to be represented. And so I rang Nina up and I said, oh, Nina, I said, can you do a video with me? And she goes, yeah. Sorry. I've been coughing for 4 years. Coronavirus isn't that long, so don't worry about it, guys. And there's not a touch screen or anything, so you're not going to, like, you know. Anyway, so she basically came over and then she was like, oh, why don't you put that jacket on?
Well, I saw the high. She basically had a high-vis jacket. So she was going to infiltrate the Marshalls that hadn't appeared yet.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to stand near them and just cause mayhem and just.
We were like waiting for
when they were going to direction someone one way, I was going to direction someone the other way. Oh no, my darling, you got to go this way, like, you know. And then she had this idea, well, why don't we do a video of you like with this jacket on? So it's mainly Nina that produced with it, and it was Nina that came up with the phrase Martha the Marshal. I came up with Directly Cornwall as the name for the page. So it was a bit of work together, but I would without Nina I would have never created it would just been a serious speech, 20 views and no fans. Do you know what I mean? Well, maybe
by then we had the arrows, didn't we? The yellow arrows around town.
That's right.
And I think we'd had marshals maybe for a couple of days, but we hadn't seen. We'd heard there was good. We were imagining like marshals all up the street, weren't we? Like herding us and stuff.
In the beginning, we thought they might just be like saying. Well, I thought they might just be saying stuff and everything. And I didn't think it was going to be like little Hitlerish. And then when you saw all the arrows, it's like, oh my god. Oh, sorry, are we allowed to say, oh my god?
Yeah, of course you can. You say what you like.
So, but then I was like, oh no. It's going to be like little Hitlers all the way, like dotted down the flipping street. So I was like, yeah. But luckily it didn't turn out like that. There's hardly any of them there, you know.
Yeah.
So
I think I've only seen like 2 or something. Like
they tend to do it on Saturdays.
Yeah. We see them quite a lot in Moor Gardens, don't we? Like hanging out.
Yeah, they do a lot of hanging about in Moor Gardens.
Do they?
Yeah. I've seen them more in Moor Gardens than I have on the streets.
Okay.
And that's because I do the job better than they do. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I was shocked when I went to town one evening. I thought I'd get a takeaway, and it was like, what the hell are these on the pavement? And it's like, oh my god, you're having a laugh every 2 metres.
What, in Campbell?
Yeah, in Campbell. And you say it as if like, oh, what, that we know or we should be told.
Well, I don't know, because some areas don't even have
I don't know, the posher areas like Truro, perhaps they don't have
probably
them.
Truro. I mean, we were in Truro. There weren't anything on the ground, was there?
No, I don't think there was.
It wasn't.
I was.
Maybe.
Perhaps it's just to the uneducated Canberra and Penzance people.
Yeah. We are a bit, common.
Yeah. So have you seen any signage, offensive signage put up anywhere?
A what signage?
Offensive signage that's like thrown you at all, made you a bit...
Well, driving into St Just like about a month ago, it was a bit strange because I'd been up there for ages, and as I drove in, it was like, what the hell is going on? It's like, is this like COVID town or something? It was like these huge, like massive yellow signs, like how big, like sort of billboard.
Yeah.
As you drive in, and it said, COVID, beware, pedestrians ahead. And there's like, that was 2 just before you even got into St Just.
Right.
And then when you get in, they were like everywhere. My friend is up, and I felt so sorry for her because like you can't just walk around the town and forget you just want to forget all the time. It's everywhere.
Was that the town they disappeared in?
Well, then a couple of weeks later, we heard that they'd all disappeared one night.
Strange.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They might be back by now. I don't know.
Okay, so they weren't replaced.
Yeah. Apparently, on Pirate FM, it said that some idiots had gone in and taken the signs or something. I don't know.
I'd like to know those 2 idiots anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Great, more of it.
Exactly. We need that, don't we?
We need that. We do need people to do things like that. I've been out walking the dog a couple of times, and people have written on the signs, "Are you a sheep or awake?"
Yeah,
I love it. Sorry, that's going to offend some people because people are quite offended by the sheep word, aren't they? It would seem. Yeah. But people are offended with everything, aren't they?
I feel bad saying it, but it's just so hard.
Sometimes
it's just so frustrating when you see people just doing these things because we sort of, it looks like they're in a trance or something. Do you know what I mean? And they're just following the rules. It's so frustrating because like we care about everyone. We don't want to like call names or anything, but it's just so frustrating seeing them just doing it unquestioningly. Yeah. And that is, I guess, why they're likened to sheep. Yeah. I watched a Vernon Coleman video like not that long ago, and he was saying that he reckons sheep are actually a little bit more intelligent because they actually know when the slaughterman comes along. Do you know what I mean? They know this is not good, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They pick up on it, don't they?
Yeah, intelligent animals.
Yeah.
No, it's right, not too much laughter, not too much fun.
No, we're not allowed too much fun these days. Boris has said that many times.
I might be spraying you. I might be spraying you with my COVID germs.
Yeah, you cannot spray us with your COVID
germs. You can't
sing,
you cannot laugh.
Yeah. No. Okay. Oh, have you heard the recent thing about Happy Birthday? The saying Happy Birthday spreads, may spread like COVID.
I'm just wondering, like, are we allowed to blow out candles still on cakes?
I don't know. That might be too.
That should be a poll.
I reckon that's going to be.
We need to poll that, and then we need to make a big news thing about it in like.
And it would be interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting how many people would not do it as well. Or actually, that person put them behind a glass screen. Anyway, we shouldn't take them into too much, should we?
No.
Like, we don't mean it in a bad way. It's just, it's so, like, it's been quite scary, like, watching
this
happen.
Yeah.
And I've got to say that the first couple of weeks I was taken in by it as well.
Yeah.
So I know how people feel if they are just listening to...
And I do remember when I was blue-pilled, it takes a process for people to wake up. It takes a certain thing for them to get to there, and they can't get there by us just saying, come on. Do you know what I mean? It's and the first time they hear information like this anyway, and I did it, and I think everybody does it, is we reject it. The first time you hear anything new is rejection, and then eventually things come along, and then you plant seeds, basically, don't you? Even the rejection part, you're planting like seeds, I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah, plant seeds. Yeah. That's a great way. I was thinking about going out and like posting flyers and things like that. There's loads people can do. If they can't attend demonstrations and do stuff like that,
exactly,
they can do stuff. And if you plant seeds, I mean, I speak to people out shopping, and I had a great experience the other day. I was in B&M, and me and my other half were not swooning around, but carefree, enjoying our shopping. And we got to the till, and I was chatting to this lady about the hospitals, and everyone I tell, they're all like, no, really. Because I've made a point from the start, I tell everybody. And I can't help it, it's just me. I am one of those people, I wear my heart on the sleeve. And they do need to know, and they all should know. And it's like, well, I'm not making it up. Anyway, so we were in there, so like, hence me and my partner are wearing masks. It's a load of rubbish. Anyway, this woman's behind me now, and she says, well, don't you get fined £100 if you don't wear a mask? I said, no. And even the cashier said, no, not at all. She said, I hate wearing this thing. I said, well, take it off. So she took it off and threw it in a trolley. And me and the cashier were like, yay! And these people I see now, I make it my duty when I go anywhere shopping. And when they're wearing their masks under their chin, under their nose, I'm like, take it off, my love.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a lot of foreign people, actually, that like, we don't need it. Sorry, that's a bad impersonation. And I'm like, no, you don't need to. But obviously they're in a different country again. And even someone I work with, I was trying to explain to him, and he said, he said that he was told he wasn't allowed in Tesco's unless he wore a mask. And I said, no, just say you're exempt. And actually, I think this is the thing I feel from a lot of people. They don't want the confrontation. And I understand that as well. If that's the case, wear one of these sunflower badges. You can download them from the internet. And Tesco's are brilliant. They gave my mum one. They gave her another one for me. I wore it once because I was thinking, if anybody says anything, I'll just ding dong, here's my badge. And then it was like, nobody said anything. Every time I go out shopping. And now I'm waiting for somebody to say something, because I'll be like, okay, I'll tell you why I'm not wearing a mask. You'll probably wish you never asked. Yeah. But nobody says anything. Nobody bats an eyelid. And I saw a friend shopping the other day, and she was like, where's your mask? And I was like, I'm not wearing one of those filthy things. And anyway, we were chatting for a little bit, and then she said, look, I'm really sorry, I've got to go. She said, I'll pass out another 5 minutes wearing this. Take it off. But they won't. They're so scared of what's going to happen, who's going to confront them. They don't understand by just saying, I'm exempt, thank you, move on. But they don't have to. So it really is interesting times, especially with the mask issues at the moment. And obviously we've had today's new announcement. What a load of bollocks.
I know, about the 6 people.
6 people. Oh my God. And, my little boy goes to school when they're in a bubble of 60. And then those 60 children go out with their families. I mean, if people aren't questioning things now, I mean, really, they've got to be, I'm sorry, and I don't want to tell anybody that's stupid, but they must be able to think.
Come on. Yeah. Why is it that children are allowed in a bubble of 60, but adults are only allowed in a bubble of 6?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it feels like it's like some sort of test to see how far can they go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I think.
How
that's
ridiculous
what I wonder.
Can it get? I just think, why would they do that? But that's what it feels like.
But that's almost like they're saying, I read somebody's post, I've shared it actually, a bit like once you start, they're making you wear masks to see who will conform. Yeah. And if they can make you wear masks, what can they ask you to do now? And I do believe that there are people out there that if they said do this, do that. I mean, I've seen people driving cars with the roofs off and masks and gloves, and it's quite funny and feeling. I mean, but actually, I should feel sorry for them, because living in that fear.
It's horrible.
You lived in it for 2.5 months.
It is horrible.
I lived in it for about 3 or 4 days, and I seriously thought we were going to die.
Yeah.
And literally, you're watching the news, and like I said on Saturday, all the different news footage. It was shown on 3 different channels. It was the same hospital ward, and I got to the point. Do you know what? I've got to turn off the news and the radio because I'm feeling so low about it all and so scared. And along with everybody else, I did. And that was when I had my week off Facebook and stuff, and I painted. I did normal stuff that we do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, how can you not talk about it with what's going on at the moment? I mean, it's just so current, isn't it? We like to push politics under the carpet, so to speak, and it's like, oh, we won't go there. But how can you not go there? Because everybody's life at the moment is affected by it.
Yeah.
So, so sorry. Well, what's the word? Sidetracking. Yeah. So you did Martha the Marshal. And what happened? Because I actually thought then, here we go. See, I'm gullible and I'll believe a lot of things. I actually thought directly Cornwall TV and radio, whatever it is. I can't say it. Sorry.
Radio and news.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you have been news.
All right.
Facebook won't let us change the name, so we've had to stick to it.
It should.
I don't actually know why we called it, just because at the beginning it was directly Cornwall Radio, wasn't it? And then we thought, why have we called it radio? Because it's actually on Facebook and it's video. But then we couldn't change it, wouldn't allow us to change it. So we added news.
Yeah, so it should be directly Cornwall News.
Yeah, but we can't change it.
It's directly Cornwall Radio and News.
All right. So do you do radio?
No, but we.
That's why it shouldn't be. That's why the radio thing shouldn't be in there.
See, I actually, being a bit gullible, actually thought you were a proper news channel.
Yeah, and was that the first one that you, episode 1 that you saw?
Yeah.
And so did a lot of people. And some people thought it was Cornwall Live because the name had Cornwall in it. I was walking downtown and someone said, "Oh, I see your Martha stuff on Cornwall Live." I'm like, "Cornwall Live? They wouldn't pick it up." And you said, "You sure?" And of course, it's because of the word Cornwall. Because a lot of people skim read.
Yeah.
They see directly Cornwall. They look at the Cornwall bit and think, "Oh, Cornwall Live." It's like, all right, then if people want to think I've been on Cornwall Live, I've made it big. Like, you know what I mean? You carry on.
So where did you first post it?
So basically, we did the first episode, and then we thought before we posted it, we thought we need to have like our own, rather than just posting it on our own pages, let's set up a page.
She did. She had that genius idea.
Did I?
Yeah, you
cool.
that came
and
up
then you
with
came up with the name, didn't you?
Yeah.
Directly called.
But then you came up with Martha the Marshal, so that was just like, everybody's like,
"Oh yeah,
Martha, we love you," and I'm like, "It's all right, love. It's all right. Bring the love in. Bring the love in." Sorry, Karen.
No, it's all right.
Yeah,
amazing.
We thought, because it went so well, the first episode, we were so happy with it. We just thought we might as well set up an actual Facebook page dedicated to...
So you did the first video, and what did you upload it to then?
Directly Cornwall.
So you created the page first?
That's it, for that.
Right.
Once we filmed the episode, then we created the page to put the episode on, because it had gone so well, and we thought we can do more of this.
Right, and you just started sharing it?
We expected like, 100 views or something, or 200
I was
views.
expecting 200 views. Yeah.
Luckily, so we both then shared it with invited our friends to the page, and then it just spiraled then, didn't it?
It literally went within days. It was like thousands and thousands of views. I mean, the first video now is over 100,000 views on Facebook. I'm just like, it's actually 1,000.
About a week ago, wasn't it? We hit the 100,000.
Yeah. So it's like, just like, I'm so shocked. I can't believe it.
No, people like a bit of humour, don't they? And it's lovely.
And it was so great to do something like, we were so stressed at the time, thinking, obviously the arrows had appeared, and we were like, what is going on? This is like crazy. And then we heard that these people were going to come in marshalling us, and that was quite scary. Do you know what I mean? Like thinking that all these people are going to appear on the street, and you're just going to go shopping, and you're going to have these people like keeping an eye on you. So it was great though to have a laugh with it, and that's why I love being friends with Charlie, because we're always having a laugh. And and it went from a serious speech to, it was like we expressed ourselves, but in a comedy way, didn't we? And I just said, well, I'll interview you. And we didn't even plan what we were actually going to do. We just started by an arrow, and I just started interviewing and said, right, this is Martha the Marshal, and she's here.
And the funny thing is, the bits where she does the reporter bits and the bits where I answer her, we don't plan it. It's not written down or planned. She just goes off like that, does it, and I just respond right there. Then the thoughts come live, well, on the video.
Yeah, which keeps it really
down.
Fun as well, doesn't it? Yeah. We don't know what way it's going to go. But then after that first episode, someone said to me, "Oh, you seem quite good at doing like the reporter stuff." So then I thought, well, for the next one, let's get someone to film so I can actually be in it and look more professional. And I got a microphone and everything, yeah. And it got more and more creative, didn't it? We got little storylines and stuff.
Well, I just thought you need to expand from that one. I mean, what a lot of some people said in the first episode is they love the fact that it wasn't staged; it was just very natural. But I just think you need to expand from that. So we decided to get more characters in, more reporting different places and stuff.
What characters we had now? Like AI. There's an AI marshal.
Yeah.
There's a Andrex peddler.
Marshall Marmaduke.
Marshall Marmaduke, yeah. He was brilliant. Only on the what was that, episode 6?
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
Oh, that was brilliant. He was really
he
good.
beat up Martha. Yeah, and Martha was defending Davy's statue, weren't you?
Yeah. As you got to do, you know.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that.
There was like a lot of different things playing out in the news, so we like used that, and obviously there's all the statues being attacked and stuff, so we kind of used that in one of them as well. Yeah.
So were you worried about doing this, what the reaction was going to be, or did you just didn't give a shit?
No, and it helped us.
Sorry.
It helped me because when looking at all the comments on the videos, the amount of abuse and nastiness that were on some of them, it actually helped me. It helped me get past worrying anymore. I just felt much more freer because I was just like, say what you like, you know, and people will always pick apart anything that you do. And I just think, well, if you sit in a corner and you do nothing, half of those people in that room is going to really, really not like you, and half of the people are going to be fine with you. So why not just do what you want and have that same amount not liking you and the same amount liking you, because then you're doing what you love, don't you? So that's
a really good way of putting it, actually, Charlie. Yeah.
You sit and do nothing. People don't like quiet people for some reason, and I've noticed that some people will say, "Oh, I don't like that quiet person," and I think it's because of their insecurities, because they're being quiet. That some people need to talk. So you will get a group of people, even if you're quiet, you'll get a group of people that'll be like, "Do you know what? I don't like them. Don't like them. Make me feel uneasy because they're not talking." Well, do you know what? Just do what you like. You know, there's still going to be a group of people that don't like you, and a group of people that like you. So just be yourself, be your true, authentic self, and just do what you like. You know, as long as you're not hurting people, of course, or you know.
Good advice. Yeah. And I think this is a lot of people's problems, isn't it? It's always worrying about what other people think, and that's the whole mask charade again, isn't it? Oh, well, they'll think I'm selfish. They'll think I'm this.
But once you get past that, I mean, I saw the video that you did. I don't know if you read the comments on Cornwall Live about you. Did that do the same thing for me that did you? Did it help you grow, or did it make you feel, you know?
Am I interviewing you, or are you interviewing me?
Sorry, my love.
No, good question. It's really funny because, like you say, when you get to that point, you have to not care anymore.
You have to.
And I knew that 50% would probably like it, and 50% probably wouldn't. I've read through some of them, but actually there's too many. I can't believe. I mean, I didn't know Cornwall Live was recording on Saturday. I had no idea. And funny enough, I've got a group of friends, and I'm not holding it against this person. We have a group chat, and there's probably 6 or 7 of us on it. And one of them, who's a dear friend of mine, she said, "Have you seen that Shelley's on Cornwall Live?" And of course, this popped up on Messenger. I think I showed it to you. I was a little bit. Anyway, and one person in the group said, "What an idiot," basically. And I just put, "Thanks, guys, I'll remove myself." And my friend had genuinely put on this because she was shocked. I suppose you would be. Switch on. There you are. Oh, look, there's so-and-so. I knew there was going on, but I didn't expect to see them on Cornwall Live. Anyway, for a few days I thought about it, and I thought, this is somebody that is making so many masks a day because they're so scared. And their fear is everything, isn't it? So I haven't really got upset because I think there's no point. I can't be bothered to argue with you. You won't listen to my side, and I'm not here to try and convince you neither. You kind of, like you say, you plant seeds and you hope somebody might say, "Do you know what? I'm going to look into that. But yeah, all the comments, there was lots of good comments. Lots of bad ones as well.
Yeah, there were some real good comments.
Well, one of the comments was, look at the Hong Kong that, and it was when that person got up with that, that woman that was dressed up and she did a really strange talk for about a minute.
Yeah, I thought she was blue pilled, wasn't she, by what she was saying? I don't know.
I don't know. It was really weird. I wish I didn't pass the microphone, because that's the problem. You're trying to do a speak, and then somebody like that gets up, and then they make us look like idiots, don't they? Sorry if you're listening. Somebody we know was dressed up that day, but I think they were talking about her.
Because, I mean, she was behind.
Was that the one in black?
Yeah, with that massive nose
that
thing on. And somebody had put, what a Hong Kong that. And first of all, I thought they were talking about me. So actually, that was the only thing that I found offensive. But it is funny, because it's like people, you're telling them your truth, and straight away, she's a liar. Why would I lie about that? Yeah, they don't want to hear it. They just don't really want to.
It feels like they're defining you by saying you're a liar. And it's kind of like, you obviously don't know her as a person if you've been friends with her. Do you know what I mean? You don't know them as a person if you honestly think that they're lying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is it. I'm at that point now, beyond, and I'm over that whole Facebook thing of who shunts me. Yeah, just delete and block. I don't need it in my life, and I think anybody...
You don't need to waste that energy, negative...
No, you can't be with negative energy like that. And I've read through a lot of them, and and your speech was amazing. You have you got up and spoke like that before? I know you've done your filming.
Very, very rarely. I can't really remember. I'm not really a speaker type. I don't really do stuff like that. Someone said to me, why don't you go up and speak? And I sat there and I was like, I don't want to. These people are really good. I don't want to go up. I'm going to look really bad. I don't know what to say. And then I just thought, if you're going to do it, just do it now. And when the guy had finished speaking, I just went like that when he said, like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now. If I make a fool of myself, I'm just going to go for it,
Yeah, but you didn't. And did you say about a friend of yours that...
Yeah, when I did the thing of 2.5 months on my own, I had to reach out to people because I was so low. I needed human contact. I needed human something. I was just really bad. And, some people reached out. One of the people that reached out, she reached out to help me. And I found out at a later point that she had got to a point where she was suicidal. And this is just the problem with not being around humans. When they say you've got to have this lockdown thing, what they don't tell you, they expect people who live on their own to just put up with living on their own. They expect humans to be on their own for months on end. It's inhumane. It's not. You look at any animal or creature out there that is in groups and you ask them, you put them on their own. It's not a thing that should be, encouraged for so long. Because several people, I found several people went downhill mentally, didn't they?
Massively.
So.
And if you know someone that got suicidal, it just makes you think about how many other people. Because I've heard that there's been an increase in suicide, but I haven't looked at the actual statistics or anything. I don't know if they're out there yet.
The suicide rate for April, I believe, is double the amount of what it was last year. And I know somebody whose mum did the deed, unfortunately, and many others, because they were so scared of catching the disease. And we all know in our logical minds that actually chance it, because if you did get it and you got really poorly, but they were that scared they took their own lives. And that is just heartbreaking. And
so they actually took their own lives because they were scared of getting the virus.
Yeah. And there was another gentleman that I read about yesterday, a police officer, did the same. He was convinced that he'd had it, and he self-isolated in their chalet at the bottom of the garden. And he was getting really no, you need to stay away from me because I might have the virus. He was just totally sent fear all over, and he committed suicide. And there's been lots of them. But they're not all exposed, are they, unfortunately? And this is where we say there's more people that have died from all these other illnesses and things.
But the mainstream media isn't going to talk about all that stuff. They're going to hide all that stuff and talk about the other side more, aren't they?
Yeah,
Of course.
I get really confused because like sometimes the mainstream media will say something like, and there's an article that said like 30,000 people, well, because of the backlog of like cancer treatment, 30,000 people are like estimated to lose their lives. And I thought, God, that's like quite good coming from the mainstream media. But they seem to just have the odd story like that, and it's not enough to like wake people up or something. Yeah. It's strange.
I was surprised that Cornwall Live did that on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it was that filmed us and put that up, but credit to them.
Yeah.
Because that's what they need more. People hated it. The comments as well, some of them
they
like,
need that. They need that other side, don't they?
If it was the BBC showing our protest, perhaps it would have been okay. But the amount of people as well, it's like, why is Cornwall Live even giving this airtime?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Isn't that strange? It's like they want censorship.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to know.
But the thing is, if you want censorship for the other side of the argument, then you're basically saying you later down the line you want censorship for yourself, really, don't you?
Yeah.
But it can turn around, can't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it can. Yeah.
But it's just worrying that people get offended by like hearing others. You know what I mean? It's like,
definitely. They don't like
so much division, hasn't it?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
Massively. I'll tell you very quickly before we take a break about my day today. I work across a few hospitals. I've been in one today, and we have all had coffee in the staff room before my shift started. Anyway, a couple of hours in, as usual, I've got my mask under my nose because I can't breathe. And I'm not doing it to be an ass pain. I can't stand. It's the most natural thing in the world to want to breathe through your nose, isn't it? So I quite often get picked up on it. Shelley, can you put your mask up? Yeah, of course I can. Anyway, today somebody came in, and she was a healthcare, same as me, same level, not higher than me or anything. And she said, can you put your mask up above your nose, please? I went to do so. And then I just said, actually, no. I said, what if I don't do it? And she basically said you're showing no respect for me and my health whatsoever. So now I'm like, don't argue back. There's no point. A lot of these people at this hospital were my friends on Facebook, and they all deleted me when I started posting my stuff. Not bothered. Anyway, I was quite upset, and then one of the nurses said, I agree with her. I would feel awful if I killed somebody because I wasn't wearing my mask properly, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, now I'm one of these people as well. When I get upset, I cry. And I'm like thinking, don't cry. And I'm getting really stewed up, but now I can hear them all bitching about me out there. So I'm thinking I can't stay here for the day because they're all out there bitching about me and masks. And I'm going to have 3 breaks today in that staff room with people that I'm really, the energy's not good. I know we're understaffed, but I'm sorry, I can't do it. Anyway, so I asked to speak to the nurse in charge. And one of them more or less shouted across the corridor and said, the policies. I don't know why you've come to work. And I was like, I'm not going to shout over the corridor. I'll speak to you in private in a minute. So I waited half an hour to speak to the nurse in charge. And this was a nurse as well that had actually put on one of my statuses, I'll see you in intensive care unit. And then she deleted me. Anyway, so after half an hour, they were finally free. So I went into the office and I burst into tears. And I just said, look, I'm not trying to be naughty, so to speak.
Yeah.
I said, I'm struggling with the mask wearing. I said, I've had panic attacks before. And I can't freaking breathe. It's your human right, isn't it? And covering up my nose. These people weren't with me, but somebody else had come in and said, I don't know if I just said this. She'd asked me, could I put my mask up? And she said she'd been shielding her family. And I said, yes, I respect that. So I've had 2 of them that have kind of had a go at me. And I know they're all like, they all know what I'm like. Anyway, so I just told her the truth. And I just said, look, I love my job. I said, I'm really sorry, but I can't work with this today because I feel really in a really negative situation and I don't want to go to break and be with these people. So I've got to go home. And she said, you do know there's like another 3,000 cases reported yesterday. And I said, yeah, cases, not deaths. I said, if you check the hospital numbers, I said, there's been no more admissions. Anyway, I just said, I'm not going to get political. I said, but I'm going. And I went. And I got the car and I had a good screech. And I was livid. And I thought, this is because I keep putting my mask under my nose to breathe. And I'm thinking, I'm supposed to be there next week. Yeah. It's crazy. I'm meant to be there next week. Yeah. And I'm going to have to phone up and say I can't come. Anyway, I had an email this afternoon saying, your shift has been cancelled at such and such hospital. Great, saves me a job. The other hospitals that I work at, they're a lot more relaxed because they know what's going on. That hospital is the strictest of all of them.
That's really good.
It is, yeah.
That's interesting to know, actually, because I haven't actually watched your speech at the Truro thing, and I didn't see it because I had to go off for a bit.
Right.
But I'd be really interested to hear about your experiences, because I work in hospitals and stuff. So that's really encouraging to hear that some hospitals are more like...
Yeah, one nurse said to me on Sunday, she said, I reckon 80% of the doctors and nurses here know it's bollocks.
Oh.
You know? But then the other side where I work today, they're so scared. I can't hate these people. I've had lovely shifts working with these guys. They're so scared and they're so indoctrinated.
That's it, yeah.
You know, my nose is really going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm not stupid enough to sneeze on anybody anyway. And I do try, because it's policy and it's rules and regulations, I do try to keep my mask up or what have you. But these people can't understand you. Anyway, that's my experience today. Yeah, it has upset me. But hey, this is, I don't want to say, but it's the new norm at the moment. I feel sorry for people. What job can you do without wearing a mask? What can you do these days? Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe a funeral person.
No, even funerals you have to wear masks, don't you?
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm presuming now, actually, that all of these people that have rearranged their weddings are going to have to postpone them again.
Oh, no.
I just can't believe people are, like, actually going along with the, now they keep doing all these U-turns and, like, stupid, like...
No, hang on. Didn't it say if they're having a wedding, it's different or something, wasn't it?
I don't know. There's probably another rule for that.
Oh, yeah, there's probably another. And probably next week he'll probably say, no, there isn't. You can't have it anymore or something anyway, will he? He keeps changing it so fast.
We want you to get excited and then, just break all your hopes and...
Oh, yeah, give a little bit of hope. Take it away. Give a little bit. Take it away. I bet he's loving it. He's probably in the room with the Cummings and all that. He'll be like, oh, this is so good, man. What should we play mind games with them next time?
Oh dear. Anyway, look, we're approaching our little break, so you guys can go make yourself a little cup of tea or get a glass of wine, and we're going to quickly run upstairs and use the loo, and we will be back in a few minutes. Don't go away, and see you in a minute. Welcome back to Shelley Tasko's show here on Cornwall Revolution Radio with my guests Charlie Rainbow and Nina. Feel free to click on the live chat if you wish for the live discussion. So we've just had the first hour having a good old chat with Charlie about their Martha the Marshall comedy sketches and what they've been doing in being active and demonstrations. We're going to chat a bit more to Nina now. So Nina, you've been doing your bit in London.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, well, not me, everyone, can you tell us how, actually, no, skip that question a second. When did you wake up? What's going on in your life? What led you to this?
Right. Well, when it all started, I was working at this retirement home where there's about 8 residents and they live in their own flats. And I got the job through like word of mouth. And so I'd only been there like 3 weeks or something like that. And it was like the main part of the job was cooking for like their lunch. And you also have to be like on hand because I was like the sort of the deputy warden. There's like a main warden, and I was kind of like would help them with stuff they needed, like if she wasn't around or whatever. And then all this started, and obviously because I was working around elderly people, it kind of I don't know what I would have been like if I wasn't. I might have been completely different, but obviously I had this because of the news. I was watching the news, and it was so what they were saying. It made me really like. Conscious of, well, the main thing for me was that I was really worried that if I went in there, if they got ill, it would be obvious that it was me. And obviously I didn't want to make them ill. But that sort of played on my mind quite a bit. And then I'm trying to think what woke me up. I was a bit aware of alternative media, like basically it had been like a gradual process, like a couple of years before all this happened. A friend of mine had given me sort of the alternative views on Trump, which I was really shocked at. So that woke me up a little bit that, that he might actually be okay. And I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about Trump, but that really sort of shocked me because I was like, oh my God, like they're giving us this like narrative all the time that he's this awful person. So if he's actually okay, then that means that someone's lying a lot. And another friend of mine like woke me up a bit about things to do with wars and how that they were like, a lot of them are like funded by the government. So, and they make out that they're about something, but actually there's other stuff going on. It's like a smoke screen or something for other stuff. So, but then, and this friend that told me about Trump as well, like I said to her, can you just send me everything that you know? Because I was so fascinated by, you know, a lot of stuff that she was telling me about. And that included, like, she did actually say something about Black Lives Matter and how that they were also like funded by the government, and you know,
it's a bit loud and
sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, so she sent me these links, but I didn't get around to actually looking into it that much. Because it's like effort, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like looking into all this stuff, and because there was nothing there, like to make me, do you know what I mean? Like this crisis, whatever it is, kind of because it starts affecting your life personally. It makes you have to look into it. So that's what happened when this stuff happened. And my boss, where I was working, she listened to a lot of alternative news as well. So she's kind of red-pilled. And I just said to her one day, like, I think this was before it all started, but I said to her, like, tell me what you know about everything that you're listening to. And she said something, she's telling me about deep state and stuff like that. And I'd never heard that term before. But she was explaining how there's like, we all, you know, think that we're voting for like the government, but actually there's like a deep state behind all the governments that actually control everything. And because she told me about this stuff, when this crisis happened, like a couple of weeks into it, I just thought something just isn't quite right. So it all felt so surreal. So for a couple of weeks, I was like taken in by it, just kind of just going along with it. But then I just thought something's not right, and I just looked online and just typed in coronavirus and the deep state, and then that was kind of just it. Like I got loads of alternative stuff coming up, and then Charlie, the same, like within a couple of days of that, she sent me a link to the David Icke, one of the David Icke interviews on London Real, and that like blew me away.
That one was banned.
Yeah.
Oh right.
So yeah. And it was like perfect timing because I was already kind of like looking into some stuff, and then that was like, yeah, I never looked back after that kind of thing.
You can't after, can you?
Yeah.
And I'm actually quite surprised with you finding out that you say it's only been since the start of this that you've been awake, because you seem to be really knowledgeable and stuff like that. And I expect, like a lot of us, you do a lot of research, you watch things.
Yeah.
You're not sat down watching soaps and things like that. You're watching stuff that people don't want you to see.
Yeah.
And at the moment, they keep being removed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So did you start joining then the Truth Action groups? What happened then?
I wasn't even on Facebook for ages because I'd been off it for like at least a year. And then I got more and more scared about what's going on. And I just thought, I've got to go on Facebook just to see what other people are saying. So I don't know when it was, maybe like May or something. A couple of months in or a month in or something, I went on there, and then obviously there's so much stuff on Facebook that I was like, wow. And I just started like joining groups then. Yeah. And I had to unfollow a lot of groups because I joined so many, and they were about so many different things. So I've had to like I started unfollowing them and just joining more local ones, because I thought if I'm going to make a difference, it's better to just work together. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of it's quite overwhelming because there's like all these different rabbit holes.
One leads to another, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was just getting more and more scared.
And that's when me and Nina started, like, because I 4 years ago I would never have been able to have done on Facebook what we started doing. So then we started, the people that are only having the mainstream media coming into their consciousness, we need to put out the other side to help them. So we both started just punneling things on Facebook. Both of us were just putting stuff, to try and help people from then.
Yeah,
really.
And it was amazing. So I remember the first time I went into Penzance, I hadn't been in there for ages because I was working, and then I was supposed to be isolating because of work. So I didn't like just go in and go to the shops because they put so much fear into me, about it. And then I heard that Charlie went into town. I was like, I'm going to go into town.
Girl power.
Yeah. So I went, and there's like this brilliant coffee van, and the guy that runs a couple of people that I knew, and I just wasn't sure, because I started to feel really alienated because of the stuff that I was learning about. You start feeling like you're like on a parallel universe or something. And then I got to the coffee van and there's like a group of people around it who I kind of knew a little bit. And they're all like completely the same. Like they were all knew there was something else going on. So it was amazing. It was like to have that like community there. And that's how we started getting information. And then me and Charlie were hanging around as well. And we started to get information through the community there, like what was going on and like, what people thought and that the marshals were coming into town.
The funny thing is that there's been, around Sim's van, there's been a group for years that have been red pilled that we've been able to talk about, but it's only then that it was kind of like, it was more freer and more kind of out there. Do you know what I mean?
So what's the name of this van again? Give it a shout out.
Called, what's it called? The Tube.
It's, the Tube.
Yeah. He's away at the moment, but he should be back like within a couple of weeks.
And where does he hang out?
He's by Humphrey Lee statue up on the terrace.
He does
really
the best coffee in Penzance. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that, try it.
Oh, right. So if you want a bit of a free chat, that's
you will slip over like a red pill in there sometimes, though, won't you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be done.
Yeah.
I love it. I went into a shop the other day and it was an Indian lady that ran it, an off license, and I went, "Hi, how are you?" She said, "I'm very good, thank you." I mustn't try and do the accent. So how are you? I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." She said, "You got your health, you got everything." And I said, "Yeah." And then she said, "About what's going on?" She said, "And I tell you now, it's all lies." She said, "No one has to come in my shop wearing a mask."
This is in Penzance.
No, this was in Camborne. In Camborne.
Cool.
And then yesterday at work, I don't try and bring it up with my patients because some of them are quite elderly. But this one lady was asking, and she's 84 years old. And she said, "Well, what do you think about all of this then?" And I said, "I think it's bullshit." She said, "You're the first person that has admitted that to me." She said, "I've been on at my husband for months, telling him to turn that news off and stuff." And she was 84 years old.
Yeah.
So it's lovely, really. Yeah. But so anyway, I got to meet you guys. You did your Martha the Marshal, and your
and then we met you at Plymouth, didn't we?
We met you at Plymouth, and then I saw you at London, and you were doing something really exciting up there. Can you tell us a bit about what you've been doing in London, how you met, etc.?
What, me and Geza?
Yeah.
Right. So before I went to London, about 3 weeks before I went, I started following this guy on Facebook. Because I became aware through someone else sharing something that there's this guy hanging out in this protest pen, which is in Downing Street, and it's opposite number 10. And it sounds a bit strange because it's like a protest pen, but what he's done is that he's using their own like rules against them, kind of thing. And like he's now like he knows all like common law and stuff like that, and he knows what his rights are, and he's decided once he found out that Oxford University were testing vaccines. They tested vaccines on animals and it killed them. So it failed on animals, but then they started testing them on children. And he found out about this. And he went to, I think it was Southampton or I don't know where he was, but some hospital and was protesting. And he just thought, right, what can we do now? And then he found out about this pen, the protest pen. And he decided to basically go and occupy it and not leave. And
So I'm being stupid now. What is a protest pen?
It's based. I don't know that much about it, but I think it's an allocated sort of space they've given people outside Downing Street, which sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? A pen, for people to protest in. But
for the sheep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does sound a bit like that. He's not. Yeah, he's basically taken that, but he won't leave, so they can't get rid of him now. And he says that he won't be leaving until Boris goes to prison because he thinks Boris has. And many of others that work with him are doing crimes against humanity. So, and he wants to draw attention to that. And I just think, like, hats off to someone that's got that much, commitment and will actually be in, outside Downing Street like that, like through the night and everything. He won't leave. He's got he's got a few volunteers that will come and take over for a bit so he can go and get like a few hours sleep. So,
and you volunteered?
Yeah, so I went up to the protest. So I went to the Plymouth one. That was like the first protest that I'd been on, I think. And then we found out about London, and then that you were doing the bus up there, which I just thought that is so brilliant. And it was just like knowing that a group were going. I think it just really helps give people it's just good to know that the support, isn't it, and that you're in it together. I went up there a few days before because I could stay with a friend. Had a great day at London, and then we walked. We were at Trafalgar Square. And there were so many people. Apparently there was 40,000 people. That's what Kate Shemirani's saying. But apparently the square holds 35,000 people. and there was like loads more than that. It was overflowing. And the vibe was just absolutely brilliant. And then we all walked down to Downing Street, and I didn't realise that Geza was, that's where we were going. And I saw him, and he was absolutely loving it. Like, he was up on his platform chatting to people, and he was taking people's mobile phones and taking pictures of the crowd, because and what he said to me afterwards was that the hope in people's faces was just priceless, and he just wanted to like show that to people, because everyone was together and they were just like,
wow.
Yeah.
Do you know, you're the only person out of all the groups I follow on Facebook that has shown anything about him. I never heard about him before until I knew what you were doing.
Yeah. And that's why I thought, because I'd only heard of him by chance through like a group that I was in or something, like a messenger group. And I just thought, right, I just think that is so cool, like what he's doing. So I wanted to get involved somehow. So first of all, I got a selfie done with him, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. And then I said, like, how can you get involved? And they said, well, you can put your name down on the list. And I was only up there for a few more days. I just thought, well, I've got to get in there. Do you know what I mean? So I put my name down to do like a few hours on Sunday. And then I went there not really having any plans. I just thought I'd get to meet him maybe, or just, contribute somehow. But when I got there, I just thought this is like too good an opportunity to miss. And because I've been doing, I've become like the news reporter for Directly Cornwall Radio News, and I've been getting experience interviewing Martha the Marshal, of course. That it sort of like came more naturally, and I just thought this is a good opportunity. So I just like, before I even told Geza that I was going to do it, I put on my newsfeed, I'm doing a live interview, because I just thought, well, he's going to say no, because he loves getting his message out there.
And people have got to see this. I've got to interrupt. Right. Nina, this is why. Is that on your Directly Cornwall page?
No, not. Only because we kept the Directly Cornwall page mainly for like more light-hearted stuff. Right. But I might put it on there.
But if not, this is perhaps why. I mean, I don't know if I'm able to share it, but perhaps why you should tell everybody your proper surname.
Oh,
because
right,
they might like to see it. It would be really interesting to see.
Or we can put it on directly if you wanted to.
Yeah, but also Geza, he has got his own page.
Oh, okay.
So it's Geza well, if you type in Geza Frackman, so it's Geza, so that's Geza, and then Frackman, so obviously Frackman. And the reason he's known as Geza Frackman is because he did a lot of campaigning against fracking.
Wow.
He's also called Terriani, but I don't know how to spell that. So he's got his own personal page, and that is what he's putting like his updates on. And he's doing at least 2 or 3 videos a day. They're not very long. Sometimes like 7 or 8 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. But he's just filming what is going on. Sometimes he'll see politicians. Like the first video I saw, he was filming, and then he saw what's he called? God, not Boris, but one of his Michael Gove. That's it.
Right.
And he was just walking along the street, like going up down the street, and he just was straight after him, and he was like asking him questions, like he doesn't hold back at all, and he was just, I can't remember what he was saying, but he was like, he basically does not mince his words. All right, so Charlie's just got Geza's page up for me, so it's Geza, and then Terriani is Tarjany, so his surname is Tarjany. That's Terriani, yeah. So if you look up Geza Terriani, you can follow what he's up to in Downing Street. But yeah, the first video that I saw, I was just amazed, because it's just like a normal guy that's just taken it upon himself to hold these politicians to, what's it called, like hold them to account. Is that right? Yeah. So, and he just, there's Michael Gove just walking down the street, and he's like straight after him like a rocket, and just like asking him all these questions. And then Michael Gove's like walking quicker and quicker, like he looks like he's breaking into a sweat. And then he like hails a taxi and jumps in to get away from him. And before he gets away, Geza said, "Oh, we are going to put Boris in prison. You know that, don't you?" And I just thought, wow, that is some guy, isn't it? Like,
just a bit.
Yeah. So after I saw that video, I was like, wow, and it gave me hope that someone's doing that. I mean, there's so many people out there now doing videos and stuff, but just to be there, like, right outside where these people, idiots, hang out, outside Parliament or whatever. So when so on the day of the march and everything, I just put my name down. I went along the next day, and I just thought, right, I'm going to do an interview because I've kind of got the bug for it now. So yeah. And it went quite well, apart from the sound wasn't that great, which is a real shame. But you could hear me, but Gez's voice is quite faint, but you can still hear him if you really concentrate, and it does get better. But if you follow his page, everything's on there, and you can keep up to date. And it's like things are changing really quickly. Extinction Rebellion have been doing like a lot of protests there recently after we've been there. It's all kicking off up there at the minute. There's just so many like protests going on, but he's found it really interesting filming, because Extinction Rebellion is so different to what our experience was, where we were in Trafalgar Square, and we just had the police keeping an, like, there's a few police there, wasn't there, just keeping an eye on everyone. But Extinction Rebellion have got like oh my god, it must have been like 20 riot bands were like going along protecting them. There was like about 100, maybe 200 police. And it was like, wow, I didn't realise the government actually protects Extinction Rebellion. I'm a supporter of like, you know, like looking after the environment and everything. But I have, since down all these rabbit holes, I have learned that through it. I haven't really looked down this one yet, but apparently Extinction Rebellion are also part of an agenda of the government called, like, what's it called? The Green something. Agenda 21, the Green, so I can't remember.
Oh, right, yeah. Agenda, you're talking about Agenda 21 and Agenda 30.
Yeah. And they've got this, I can't remember what it's called, this Green Plan or something, I don't know, but
You're talking about the sustainability?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But as I say, I haven't really gone down that route, but Gez has been there following that quite a lot recently. But yeah, I had a great conversation with him, because I wanted to find out what drove him to being there, and also just to get him attention, so people like in the London area would go and support him, because I was quite shocked that there weren't that many people. They do, loads of people support him on Facebook. He's got tons of people that watch his videos and support what he's doing, but he needs people to go to the pen. So, like, and you're never alone. Like, when I went there was like another couple of people, but it's just so he can like get a break and go and have a kip, and you know. And I just think people need to like get behind him and like do stuff like that, so he can stay there, because it's really important what he's doing.
So how long has he been there now?
He's been there now, at least, I think it must be about 30 days now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you all there, I presume, in case the police, if he was to fall asleep, they come in and shift all his stuff out.
Yeah. And they've already taken away like a gazebo, like umbrellas, stuff like that.
But they won't do that if there's somebody in there.
Yeah, there's a guy in there who had his yachts or something like that. 2 canal boats, that's it. Yeah, 3 canal boats stolen off him by the government, I think. So he's in there on a hunger strike, and he's been there for quite a long time now. They stole his sleeping bag the other day. That's all he's got is a sleeping bag and a chair, and they went in and stole his sleeping bag. So like Geza was doing a video the other day just to highlight that. But yeah, so you've got to have your wits about you, because they will come in and try and if they can get you out, then they might not let you back in. So
yeah,
and he did have a gazebo to obviously get shelter, but now all I think he's got is like a fold-out chair.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what people are doing there.
I know.
There are lots of really amazing people out there, aren't there?
Yeah. And I think he does seem to be drawing more attention to himself since, I don't know if my interview had anything to do with it, or maybe, I don't really think it did, but like ever since I did it, I've just noticed more and more people are doing shout-outs to him. So I'm hoping that's happening before, but I just didn't notice it. Like even Charlie the other day she was chatting to Fiona Rose Diamond about doing the volunteering, weren't you? Mm-hmm. And Fiona Rose Diamond's good friends with Shep. Well, they work together and doing the protest.
She's a friend and a PA as well.
Kate Shermani's a nurse, and I think she used to be a nurse, and she's now trying to draw people's attention to what's happening with vaccines, and also how people's rights are being taken away. And she was one of the main speakers at the protest on the 29th. And Charlie got chatting to Fiona the other day, and then Kate did a shout out, didn't she, saying could she get Gez's number? So she wants to get involved now. And
brilliant.
Yeah.
So then I got hold of the number and texted Kate Shamarani myself, and she actually responded to me. A famous person responded.
Did she?
I know. I was just like, oh my god, she just responded to me. I was really excited.
Yeah, no wonder.
After watching someone for I've been watching her for about a couple of months now. So I'm like, oh my god, my friends had a text from Kate Shamarani.
It's like association, friends. association, like, you know.
It's because that day on London, I mean, I've liked David Icke for, God, a long time now, but being that close to him,
I know.
and his speech was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like losing my voice from shouting. But before that, I can't remember the name of the lady. She interviewed me. It was on the Sean something show. But I was like, because I was right in the front, and she's like, "Oh, this lovely lady's smiling. Do you want to say hello to Sean?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And it was very brief, but it was like, "Oh my God, these are all really big people." That are... And when we travelled down on the bus, and we got to Trafalgar Square, it was quite quiet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you're like, "Is anybody going to show up?"
No, there's hardly anyone there, isn't there?
Yeah. And anyway, before you knew it, obviously it had filled up. Yeah.
It must have been pretty amazing seeing everyone turning up, because I didn't get there till like 1:30 or 2 or something.
It's quite late.
Everyone was there.
You late?
I know, it was terrible. I know.
She forgot where she was.
I have to say, my favourite phrase that David said was, "Human race, get off your knees. The lion sleeps no more." He was so powerful. It was so powerful what he was saying, wasn't it?
That's a famous speech by. Sorry, that's my wine bottle emptying against the glass. Not emptying. Anyway, he took that from a book or something. But I love the way.
Really?
Yeah, listen to it again. I've listened to it a couple of times. We watched it the other night in bed. How sad is that? Poor Darren. I'm sure he's fed up with it. And after we watched it, I'm like, I was there. Can you believe I was there?
It's so funny because
I can believe it.
Being that close to David Icke, and I've been watching him on YouTube for years. There was somebody who had filmed behind Dave Icke, and I was all the way over the other side. And our friend Steve Curnow said, "Hi, Steve." Said,
Big shout out.
Yeah. He said, "Can I hear your voice, Charlie?" Because at one point I was going, "David," I was going, "Ah!" And I was so thingy, and I said, and I listened, and I was like, "Oh my God, you can actually hear it." So David, I would have heard it.
I know what you're saying.
I was like, "Oh my goodness!" But in a crisis, you need a big voice.
Oh, definitely. When he was shouting "freedom,"
oh, everybody was just going, weren't they?
Yeah. But just before he'd come on, I was then sort of like, I'm shattered now. I've been up all night. And it's like, you've been listening and cheering, but now your voice is going and the main person is out, you know. He was amazing.
And the organisation of the coach and everything, and making sure everybody's on and everything, it's more of a stress thing, don't you think? Or was it with you? Or
was it me? Do you know what? I enjoyed doing it. And afterwards, I did think I could make a career out of this, do truth tours.
Yeah.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, while you're on the subject of the bus, I was trying to sort one out for this Saturday, and because of the new bloody rule, the coach company, I won't name them, but
the 19th,
the 19th, all booked, half the people paid, and I've emailed them today and just checking that everything's okay. And basically, I've had a reply saying that due to the new rule put in place today, prices will all change because we will need a bigger bus. Basically, we can get like a 52-seater bus for 24 people. Okay, so it's going to be double the cost for everybody. They've just made it so hard. Anyway, I was thinking, we're doomed. I'm thinking minibus drivers. So I spoke to my other half and I was like, you're never going to believe it. Because today, obviously, my job this morning was really shitty. And then this, and it's like, it's one thing after another. Anyway, he said, phone up another bus company. And I was like, no, it's the same thing. Anyway, I phoned up the company we used last time. And we had brilliant drivers, didn't we?
Yeah.
They didn't give a damn that we weren't en masse.
They were brilliant.
Yeah. And anyway, this email that he sent back today saying that changes would have to be placed, have a bigger bus, etc. He was saying, and social distancing must be adhered to. So you aren't going to get us lot on a coach and we're like going to leave a row between us.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen, is it?
No.
So I phoned up and I just asked a few questions and I just said, is that the actual rule? Or, I said, we're a private group, you know. She basically said that they're adhering to government guidelines. And I couldn't be bothered to go into it. It's a guideline. We know that. It's your business. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would turn out that they'd rather not have our business. So fine. I said, do you know what? I think we'll probably go somewhere else. I said, obviously that doubles the cost for everybody, etc. So then I'm thinking, right, it's all right. We've got a couple of weeks or a week and a half or what have you. So I did phone a company and I asked him the question. I said, could we have a bus like before? I said, where they just kept the front row of seats empty and they let us get on. And he was really helpful and said, yeah, we could probably do that for you. And he said, I'll get, email me your exact thing. And luckily that last bus company had worked out all the times and everything like that. So I just copy and pasted it. And he says he'll get back to me tomorrow. So it might cost a little bit more, it might cost a little bit less, but the same guidelines as before. It shouldn't be much of a cost change.
Yeah.
But if they won't help or can't help, I will just keep trying. I'll do my bit.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's lovely uniting people that day. And I didn't do it. I just felt like I had to do it. People wanted to go. Yeah. I suggested a car share and then it's like...
Yeah, because I said right at the beginning, because I was going to go in your car, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. I was the original.
You were the original?
I was the original.
Yeah. Got in touch quick. I wanted to go desperately.
Yeah.
And my other half, he was like, well, he would drive, but he would be sightseeing and I'd feel a bit mean. And anyway, and loads of other people there messaged me and I thought, we need to organise a bus. Anyway, it was brilliant. And I will do what I can to get everybody there because it was awesome.
Now, if you do your own little thing, are you going to call it something like Tasker Truth Tour?
Yes, maybe.
TTT.
Yeah, you could though. I was thinking, how many people at the moment want to go to these talks? But then, do you know what we're relying on? We're relying on things staying the same.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
My business runs on this pandemic, don't you know? But they've got to come up with their own guidelines.
Did you do a TikTok video? That's the question.
Did I do a TikTok?
Yeah, because all the nurses didn't they?
No, because funny enough, they were doing that when I was off work because I had no work.
Ah.
So they were so quiet. That's when they did their TikTok videos. Yeah,
because there were so many patients, weren't there?
Hundreds.
Loads. I mean, you've got so much patience. You've got all this time to do TikTok videos.
Exactly. And
there is something a bit strange about all that, isn't there? Like.
Part of me thinks they were really prepared. This is when I was like, I was getting phone calls from people like in the council, people I knew that have got high class jobs, so to speak, and they've said, this is big, this is going to kill this amount of people, be prepared, blah, blah. And they're telling you all this and you're like, geez, this is scary shit. And when I'm working and you'd seen like the hospital's empty and they're getting patients in and out as quick as they can and then nobody's coming in. And it was really weird. And I did my last 12-hour shift and I came home and I said, I can't do that anymore. Yeah. I said, I'm sitting here with two patients that are independent. I haven't had to do anything all day. That for me is mental torture. Because you can't sit there and read a book.
Yeah.
You're working.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're wearing a mask. We were masked. Blah, blah, blah. This is my tiredness speech. Well, my speech goes funny because I always joke about it. Like, it happens a lot. And people say, it's just because you're tired. It is. Anyway, people were wearing masks then, I think. But yeah, it was definitely quiet. And I came home that night and I put a post up saying, for all of those of you worrying, blah, blah, blah. I said, if this helps one person feel less afraid, then I've done my bit. And I was so annoyed. And then literally a week later, there was no work because there were no patients.
Wow.
So all the agency staff had gone back to where they lived, lots of them from London and stuff. And for 3 weeks, no work. Anyway.
And what period was that around? Was that around the height of the...
Oh, it was the peak, Charlie.
Oh, it was the peak. 3 weeks off was the peak, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And no furlough because you're a bank worker. Even though you've worked for the NHS and you're putting your life on the line.
A bank worker?
A bank worker.
I don't see you in Lloyd's.
You Wally. Happy giggles. Happy people. Do people even laugh these days? Oh my God.
It's a crime now.
It probably is. We're laughing and we're like letting out all of our coronavirus.
Yeah. Next week Boris Johnson could say, laughing spreads coronavirus. You cannot laugh anymore. Right, BJ, we're going... I do apologise for the offence I have just caused. I didn't think about what I was saying. It's live. It's not like it's pre-recorded. boy himself, the man himself.
What we're calling him BJ?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
BJ,
BJ,
do you get
the
that?
the BJ thing.
Yeah.
Came from episode, was it episode 4 or 5, where you did a speech on a podium in Moral Gardens, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we were worried that she wouldn't be allowed to say Boris Johnson for some reason.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd say BJ, but
Yeah.
we went back to Boris. We thought that's fine.
Absolutely.
Because
We think it was more appropriate to say Boris Johnson rather than BJ. You know.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah. We didn't want to make him look any more ridiculous than he already does, you know. So.
Oh my.
Because Martha Marshall is actually a big fan of Boris, isn't she?
Oh yeah, I mean in the 5th episode, I did say that I'm his right hand woman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we get phone calls all the time, cups of tea, you know.
Yeah. Right, Charlie, so you got to take over.
Yeah, I think we need to take over because I've made her laugh too much. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, right. Anyway,
Okay.
I'll look at my notepad and we'll look at questions.
Yeah.
Right, so let's get really serious.
Sorry.
Oh no, this is a really serious question.
Okay.
Why do you think the government is doing this?
So is that to Harold?
Charlie, you answer that.
Why do I think the government is doing this?
Yeah.
Well, I think that there is a small group of people, the deep state, who are controlling the world and want things to go a certain way. And I think that it goes down to the acquiescing. It's like a pyramid. So they're at the top, and the acquiescing goes from each level down. And it seems that people that are on the Prime Minister's level are acquiescing to it, which means it gets brought down to us. If Boris had stood up and said no, he would have been protecting us and he would have been fighting for us by standing up. But because he hasn't, it's come to us, and now we unfortunately are having to do that work because he doesn't have the thing to do it himself. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I think is basically.
When you start looking, like right back at the start, when you start with all of this, the triangle, the pyramid, the Rothschilds at the top, and it all, I mean, there's so many movies out there to watch on YouTube, isn't there? Fall of the Cable, just absolutely loads of them. And when you learn about where this is all coming from, like I say, the Rockefellers and how they're all related to somebody else. And then Google owns Facebook, the media owns Facebook, and it's all interlocked, isn't it? All joined together. I mean, what have you learned in the last few months about the whole, like, say, child sex trafficking, all that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, like, when I first started looking into it, it was like I felt like I had to go on a crash course of like what the hell is going on. Do you know what I mean? And then I started looking down all these different rabbit holes, and it was like a horror story or something. But yeah, then there's all this satanic stuff and child sex abuse and stuff, and it's just like horrendous. And it's like it's really scary when well, I do feel really scared generally, like, and I've come out of it a bit, in the last sort of month or so, but I do struggle with like the fear of everything. We're dealing with people that do that. Where are they gonna? How are we gonna stop that kind of evil? Do you know what I mean? I just think we've just got to have like faith in that, good will triumph over evil. That's all I can think, really.
When I first learned about Pizzagate a few years ago, and I've watched several stuff, and it's like, it's just unbelievable, really, isn't it? So when you think you show that to let's say a normal person that doesn't, it's not right to say no, but what we know, but doesn't think the same way that we do, is easily dismissed, and it's like, you see, I can watch something like that and I'd be like, oh my God, I see it. I totally see it. And we live in a sick, sick world. Massively sick. I've seen some awful things about satanic child abuse and things like that. I mean, some of it, is it true? I don't know. But a lot of it, I think, why really go to the effort to make these videos? I know someone says, like, we're kind of at war with Russia and stuff like that. They're posting these things so you can share it because it's going on between the countries.
And then over the years, you're getting paedophilia, like celebrities information coming out of celebrities being in paedophile things, and it's all linking to Epstein's thing as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah, the whole Epstein thing. Have you guys watched all of those?
I've looked into like Epstein and stuff. I haven't watched like the film or anything.
No,
but certain things, yeah.
I mean, I was chatting to somebody on the bus that day actually, and I'm hoping he's going to come on the show one day. But he was basically telling me that, I don't know how it came about, but all these things with Epstein. So he was saying that actually he hasn't been murdered. He didn't kill himself. He said he's hiding somewhere. And you know, me being gullible, straight away, when you think they've said, oh, he was found dead, he'd hung himself, you're like, yeah, rubbish. And you think he didn't hung himself, someone did that to him. But then after a while, it's the idea of a possibility that actually he could have escaped. I wouldn't say escaped, but it was all set up and he's very safe somewhere else because he is so high up in this world. And
being so rich, they can get facial things now where they can look totally different.
Yeah.
What's going on with that Ghislaine Maxwell now then? Because I haven't really been following, but I know that she brought to some sort of court or something.
Oh, that was his partner in it. The last I heard, she was supposed to be in court, but funnily enough, you don't see anything going on about that at the moment, do you? Actually, that's gone really quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but it's like there's so much to know.
Yeah.
And people bring up things and think, I need to watch this, I need to watch this. And I've got people sending me stuff in Messenger, and I'm like, I haven't got time to watch this right now.
There's so many videos, it's unbelievable.
It is, yeah. And some of them are utter shit, and they are so fake, it's untrue.
Yeah.
But some of them, it's like, that'll change. I can't think, I was saying to someone yesterday, watch the David Icke speech. It's 12 minutes of your life. Because it's life-changing. I put it on my timeline, it was deleted, so I added it again. And at the moment, lots of things are being deleted, aren't they? Posts that you share.
Do you know what I found really good? If you put what the post is about or something, or maybe even a screenshot, because then you're not writing it, and then put see comments for link. Because
I've noticed people doing that now in all these groups.
It does make a big difference to like it being seen.
Yeah.
Like I'll share something straight from a person's page. Like I follow that Leah Butler Smith, who's like, I think she might be a lawyer or something, but she works closely with Simon Dolan, who's doing the Keep Britain Free or whatever it's called, and he's fighting the government in court. And they work closely together, and she's doing a lot of posts and looking at what's happening, like what's happening in the news and stuff and what we can do about it. So if I'll share something from her page, like no one, like I know that I'll get a certain amount of likes on things.
Yeah.
And because I've got a lot of friends on my Facebook that are like awake to all this stuff. And I just won't get anything. But if I just do a screenshot, it's like a completely different story. So it definitely makes a big difference.
I've noticed lots of people doing that lately. Lots of people are worried that we're getting to that point where everything we post is going to be censored.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me the other day, what if we lose Facebook altogether? What country was it a few weeks ago? They had no electricity for 3 days.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, oh God, rubbish telling you. But there was a country, they lost internet access and
going on at the moment.
Yeah, loads. And I mean, if we haven't got social media, how are we actually all going to communicate through this?
Yeah.
We rely on it so much.
There's all these alternative ones, aren't there? Which a lot of people seem to talk about.
Yeah, they are. And at the moment, it's probably the same for you guys. I've had like lots of invites and like join this, oh God, I can't even remember the name. But there's always a secondary, like there's YouTube. And Kate Shiramani, she was saying now she's doing YouTube too.
Oh, right.
Okay, she said this in one of her live videos. So all these sites, there's all these new portals. There's like, I'm on Telegram now. I've never heard of that before. Perhaps it's just me. Yeah. But people are so worried that actually we can't communicate because if they know what we're planning, like say on bus trip.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like lots of these things have been put in place just under protests, isn't it?
And a lot of them I can't get on with the different formats. I signed up to one and I put my thing in and it said it's wrong email. It's like, no, it's not. I knew it wasn't and stuff like this. So the only format that I'm finding that I can get on with at the moment is MeWe. So I'm starting that as a thing. I'm hoping for the best on that one.
I was going to ask you about that. Sorry, did you say, is that to do with your PlayStation 4?
No, that's
or is that something else going on?
That's an alternative. It's like Facebook. It's like an anti-Facebook thing. Although I have had some people say that it's been infiltrated. So I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. So
I did read on one of your statuses the other day that you are like reaching out through PlayStation.
Oh, I had on my PlayStation 4. I have a PS4 community called Resident Evil Rainbow Club, and it has about 4,700 members.
Wow!
And the way I got the members is for a couple of years, I have to put the PSN IDs of the people in on the invitation, so it took a long while to build it up.
Right.
It took many, many hours for a couple of years. Anyway, so I built it up, and I thought, do you know what? I know it's a Resident Evil community, and you're only supposed to be talking about Resident Evil, but I have to warn my fellow gamers. Like,
how appropriate is that?
Yeah. So I put a thing up on there. And I said it in a weird way, just in case Sony was going to take anything off, or because people can report certain things if it's not related to the RE. So I put in this thing because in the Resident Evil world, there's a guy called Wesker, and he is the main villain in Resident Evil. And what he wanted to do is infect everybody with this thing, and the people that would turn into monsters wouldn't last. The ones that did last and were given the powers were the ones that would live in the world. And so it was very similar to what Bill Gates, the connection to Bill Gates. So I thought, I'll put it in a way that they could try and understand in the bit that everybody can see. So I put this is what's happening, Wesker, and then in brackets I put BJ, hoping people would get it. So you don't want to say it just gives Sony, And I said, Wesker's, this thing's happening, in a certain way. And I basically just said, this is, he's giving us some medicine rather than saying vaccines, in wanting to kill off like a depopulation plan.
Yeah.
And I basically put on the end, read the comments below. So on the comments below, I put down this evidence stuff that I've been putting on Facebook about this thing that if you go under and you put, I think it's if you Google forced vaccines and go onto a certain part, I think it's fifth one down or something like that, there's a write-up about what they planned about what they want to put in the vaccine to cause 7 years, 10 down. Well, they said it. Part of it said like 2023. They were hoping that a lot of people would get cancer by then. Do you know what I mean? So I put that information out there because I felt it was very important for my gamer friends to know it, and even if they didn't want to kind of believe it, is that first little thing in there. And then obviously another thing is they might go and do their own research. Do you know what I mean?
Planting seeds.
So yeah, that was the idea. So I was hoping to get some of them through that and help them.
Do you know, you are just a natural. That is such an awesome idea. You two must be just so creative. You must be, seriously. To come up with stuff, and I've noticed, Charlie, on your timeline the last couple of days, like you're now doing like speech bubbles and I love it.
There's because I joined MeWe, which was thanks to Harper Joy. She sent the thing of MeWe thingy. And then I got onto the MeWe, and one of the people that I'd invited did these pictures on MeWe with these speech bubbles. Like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And his name on there is Trevor, or loosely Rob, like, and he's like, his name's backwards is Trevor. It's like Robert Trevor. So I said to him, "How do you do that? How do you do that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's just something on the MeWe thing you can do, like, So I put them up on the MeWe. I took a screenshot and then I put them on the Facebook thing, and I was like, I'm gonna have some fun with this.
You did have fun.
Absolutely brilliant. Comic strip.
And then I created,
Martha the Marshall comic strip.
Then I created the first Martha the Marshall comic strip, and Nina loved it. She was like, "Oh my god, you're brilliant!"
It is. It's creative genius. That was.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
And you can find the first that comic thing on directly Cornwall Radio and News on Facebook as well, guys, if you want to see that on there.
Yeah, and we are on YouTube as well, so if you just go onto YouTube and search Martha the Marshal, we come up as well. But we will be able to put
we have 6 episodes as well as some other bits on there for your entertainment.
What we'll do is, when we finish the show, soon, 8 minutes exactly, if you guys wouldn't mind just putting some of these links into the group chat. I haven't checked the chat all evening. I don't know if it's busy.
I don't know how to do links, and she's my manager, so she can do it.
Okay, yeah. Just, it doesn't even have to be done now. I think you can still add to it again.
Yeah.
But put some links in of the stuff, the guy, your Facebook pages, and Martha the Marshal, Directly Cornwall, etc., because they are awesome. And the more people start looking and sharing.
I'll tell you what, doing Martha the Marshal is what got me through like the summer, to be honest, because it was like something to focus on. We did like an episode every week for about the 7 like weeks we did in the end, or 6.
6. Yeah. But we weren't allowed. We weren't allowed to do it. We weren't allowed to do anything. I couldn't go back to work and the voluntary works that I was doing because of certain coronavirus things and stuff I won't go into. So we were left doing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, apart from
since I've been going to protest, I can't work anymore because obviously I've had to self-isolate and do tests, which I really don't want to do. Like now I know about what's going on, so but we're like on really good terms and they understand. So
how long have you been self-isolating?
I'm not actually self-isolating.
I know you're not. But to work, think you're self-isolated.
No. I've been like honest and just said. I just told them what I thought.
What did you tell them?
I just told them like everything, and I think tests are like, don't trust the tests because of all the false positives.
So you basically gave up your job?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I've got so much going on at the moment. I can't. Yeah.
I know, but what, universal credit?
Yeah.
See, the thing is about old Boris Johnson, BJ, I'd never refer to it. I never even thought about that, and that is never going to leave my mind now.
I'm sorry.
You will be.
And I apologise to you out there who that's always going to be in your head now. It's my fault. I do apologise.
Oh, you two are so funny. Oh, God, I could talk all night now, but we are rounding up. Right, Charlie, got another question. But is Rainbow your real surname?
Legally, it is my real surname. I changed it from Charlie Stevens to Charlie Rainbow.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I love it. Because I thought, if it was your real surname, how awesome would that be? Because you are like a rainbow. It
is legal. I don't know what they call it, statutory declaration or something like that. Legally, it is. So on my passport, I have Charlie Rainbow. So that's what, people call me. But yeah, it's one and done, I just preferred Rainbow. And ever since I've had that name, people just keep
they're drawn to you.
Yeah, they're
the other end of the rainbow.
They think it's they are at the other end of the rainbow, and they think it's really great. And someone was talking to me, dropped something around the I don't know, like a post, not a postman, but something like that. And I think a campaigner or something was at my front door one day, and he goes, "Oh, Rainbow. I wonder if you're related to the rainbows in blah 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 blah." And I'm sat there thinking, nah. But I tell you what. It's really easy to do your family tree because all I have to do is put my name down and job done. That's my family tree.
Oh, brilliant.
Family rainbow.
Family rainbow.
It is, but it's things about names and colours and stuff. I haven't asked you before, and I was thinking the other day, imagine if that was your real surname.
Well, it is. It is legally.
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, how lucky would you be if you had parents that were called Rainbow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool, isn't it?
I'm going to get them to change it to Rainbow. I'll have 4 members of the family. They're like Rainbow Tree. Rainbow Tree. Oh, sorry, I'm getting on now. Yeah. Right,
Charlie. One last thing. Your speech in Truro was amazing.
Thank you. The Truro Truth Tour that was last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday. It was amazing. I wish I got my phone out sooner because you actually cried.
I filmed it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? And it's so sad, but people need to see emotion.
Yeah.
And you shared that emotion and you shared your truth, and it was fucking awesome.
Apparently,
Where is the film?
I had several people come up to me saying that they were in tears as well.
Yeah.
When you started crying, I was like, I need to get my phone out. I'm sorry, that's so sad because it's like, that's news.
Yeah.
That's news.
Quick, she's in tears. Come on. Yeah. I haven't seen anyone cry since 1983.
But that's my job as a photographer, you see. Yeah, you see these moments, and I like capturing a moment, emotion. You didn't plan that talk. You got up there and you did it, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And you had a phrase. Can you remember what you said?
My face, my space.
Yes!
Yeah.
3. 1, 2, 3. My face, my space. Love it. And that's so bloody true. So bloody true.
We've done a hashtag, haven't we?
Yes.
Good.
Because I was basically saying, if you want me to keep my distance from you, that's fine, because that is your space, but my face is my space.
Absolutely.
That's like a David Icke phrase.
Yeah,
I might get famous like David Icke.
You could be one of the disciples.
Disciple.
Yeah, you're already in with Kate Shamani.
I know, I'm in with that crew. Maybe we'll go like the pub afterwards. I only wish.
No, I don't doubt it. And Nina, before we finish up, your song choice whilst marching on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I didn't actually start that. There was I think someone else started singing We Are the 99%. Should we sing it together?
Should we sing it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
We are the 99%.
Yeehaw!
We are
Singing the 99%. Sorry, yeehaw! Sing it, we are the 90.
Hang on.
We are the 90. We are the 99%.
I'd rather be a human than a slave.
Oh, I'd rather be a human than a slave. Oh, I'd rather be a human. Rather be a human. Rather be a human than a slave. Right, Nina's line is, you can stick your
false statistics up your ass.
You can stick your false statistics up your ass. You can stick your false statistics. Stick your false statistics. Stick your false statistics in your ass.
And you can stick your stinky mask up
That's
your
what
ass.
we'll end with. You can stick your stinky mask up your ass.
Yeehaw!
You can stick your stinky mask. Stick your stinky mask. Stick your stinky mask up your ass. Woo!
Yay!
Wow, ladies. All I can say is I have had an amazing evening.
What's this like for being your first show?
Oh my god, I'm trying.
That's an achievement, isn't it?
I've had so much fun.
Oh,
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Don't you forget, I always like to laugh when you really got the giggles.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm like that earlier. Oh my god,
that was funny. And when we get off the air in about a few seconds, we can laugh again. I'm just trying to find my timeline speech. Right. We've come to the end of the show. No. I've just got to remain normal for half a minute. Right. We're coming to the end of the show, guys. Would you like to give out any invites, links, websites, etc.?
Yeah.
I've already asked you. Now you're going to do it. Sorry. Right. Thanks for listening. Seriously, now it's been a really good night. We've had a good time. I hope you had too. See you all at the same place, same time next week
on the Shelley Tasker Show.